Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking to you about the 2020 Jibun Techo. The Jibun Techo is a pretty new love for me. So I originally tried it in I want to say 2017, and I didn't like it. And I'm pretty stubborn about not wanting to sell things on our store that I'm not totally thrilled with. Also, they wanted the American market at the time to have what I felt like was too big of a price point. So one of the changes they made for this year was a lower American price point, which I thought was fantastic. And then they also made a change to the paper, which I'll get into a little more in a little bit. But about a year ago, because we get the announcements for what's coming far in advance, they told me about these changes and wondered if I wouldn't try it again. So I did, and it became my favorite planner ever. So this is why I decided to sell the 2020 Jibun Techo products, and I will be giving you in this video a kind of comprehensive review of what the products are and try to help you understand the Jibun Techo in case you're totally new to this product. I thought it was very confusing at first, and I speak, read, and write Japanese, so at least at a proficient level, so I felt like it's not like the language barrier that makes this product confusing. It's just there's so many different options, and there's so much going on in the planner itself that's just kind of confusing. So I wanted to do a comprehensive review for you. So the first thing I want to talk about, and it's if you decide you want to try the Jibun Techo, this is kind of the first choice you're going to have to make. And that is, are you interested in the Biz version or the original standard version? I have here, you can kind of see, sorry, mine's so well loved here. The Biz versions are right here. And we have the B6 Slim and the A5 Slim. I love slim size planners. So let me see. Let me show you. Some of you will be familiar with the Traveler's Notebook. So let me just kind of show you the size difference here. Let me lay this one on top of here. So this one, if you kind of imagine a shorter Traveler's Notebook, and this one is a very similar height, but it's a little wider. So just to show you, let me show you also, I'm just kind of grabbing things around me. This is an A5 notebook. Obviously the cover is a little bigger than the thing itself. And so it's slimmed by maybe half an inch or so. The dimensions are on our site if you want to know the exact dimensions of these. So that just gives you an idea about the different sizes that are available. So you have the Biz, and you have the standard, the original standard. This is the original standard out of its cover. So, big difference is the Biz has more of a monochrome look to the inside, just to be more professional. Let me just kind of show you. The Biz on the inside. And then if you compare that with the original standard, it is more colorful in appearance on the inside. But the contents of the inside are practically the same between the original and the Biz. And let me just kind of show you. So here's a kind of comparison. So your layout looks very, very similar. You can see them both on there. But this is more monochrome and this is a little bit more colorful. The other important difference between the Biz and the original is the paper is different. So the Biz has what is called Mio paper. I absolutely love it. It is wonderful for gel pens. The Standard has a change to its paper, so it's always been different from the Biz, but the Standard is different this year than it has been the previous years from itself. The Standard used to have Tomoe River paper. As of this year, Kokuyo has their own proprietary paper called, it's such a simple name and I always forget it. They just call it thin paper, the new thin paper. So I've done some pen tests, but I'll do them for you here also. But what they've done is, you know, a lot of people, especially in Japan, they like to use friction pens on their Jibun Techo or with their Jibun Techo. And when you're doing erasing or when you're rubbing the paper, on the Tomoe River paper, this would wrinkle and the paper just was not nicely compatible with friction pens. But this new paper is, and I have done tests on it and I totally agree. And I also like it much better for gel pens. So I personally am super happy with the paper update for the Standard Jibun Techo. I know there will be fountain pen users who aren't as happy. Now the new paper is totally fine for fountain pens. It's just not Tomoe River paper. So, but I'll show you different things on it and why I like one over the other. We'll also be going through the accessories that are available in just a little bit. It's just there's so much to cover and we can just do a little bit at a time here. So why don't we do some ink comparisons now? I know there are a lot of people looking forward to that. And then we'll do a little bit of a flip through so you can see the different sections. And hopefully I haven't lost you yet. I know it's quite confusing. Okay, so let me see. So this is the 2019. And let me just go to a page back here. So I'm going to have the 2019 on the left and then with just the Tomoe River paper and then the new 2020 paper back here. And then hopefully I have a fountain pen in here that isn't dried up and dead because I'm horrible about that. Okay, so let me get different kinds of pens ready here for some testing. Oh yeah. Okay, so why don't I show you the fountain pen first? People are just dying to know, okay? All right, so this is 2019 Tomoe River with fountain pen. So of course, oh, let me see, let me zoom in. So of course, this is wonderful. Tomoe River paper is, I don't even need to mention this. It is highly compatible with fountain pens. Probably have a page in here where I mostly use fountain pens and I was just gonna show you. It's just nice and lovely and absolutely great with this, okay? So now let's try it over here. So this is the 2020 thin paper with fountain pen. It's hard for me to detect a difference. If anything, I would say the Tomoe River paper is a little bit smoother. So you might notice a little bit more of a drag with your fountain pen on there, but it's so almost indetectable for me that I don't even know if I should say that, if you know what if you know what I mean. So, you know, I think I would still for sure use fountain pens on this paper. I'm just gonna kind of show you the ghosting or difference. Tomoe and the new one, the new thin paper. So that's my thing about the fountain pen on this one. I would still continue to use fountain pens on it personally, but it's important for people to know it's no longer Tomoe. And then why don't I do... I definitely never use this section, so let me just do... I feel like on the Mio paper, there's a very bit of a drag, not much ghosting at all. I personally wouldn't hesitate to use fountain pens with any of the available papers. So let's move on from fountain pens to gel pens. I think this is where the new thin paper, you know, one of the places it really shines. So we'll do gel pen on the Tomoe River paper, which I just really don't like. I think it's kind of like wet and sits there. And then, you know, it seems to, I don't know if absorb better is the right way of saying it, but with the new thin paper, I think it doesn't sit on top of the paper. It dries faster. I'm just kind of wanting to show you any ghosting. So I'm personally happy about the new paper for gel pens. I mostly use gel pens in my planners. So let me show you this wrinkling thing they're talking about with the friction. Zoom back in. Okay, so this is friction, right? And so then kind of what they're talking about here is you erase it and you end up with paper wrinkle. Now anybody who's kind of used erased friction in their Hobonichi probably knows already what I'm talking about, but let me just do it one more time because I feel like it was a little unfair because I accidentally wrinkled it. Okay, so I'm just gonna... So almost like extreme wrinkling, in my opinion. So these just are not great with Tomoe River paper. So that was their main motivation for this new thin paper, was to be compatible with frictions. And you notice, you know, nothing like that with the new one. I don't know if you can kind of see. Probably like really difficult to tell, but you'll just have to take my word for it. The Tomoe River paper has like way more wrinkling. There's almost no wrinkling on the new paper. So if you like frictions, I think you'll really love the new paper in the standard. Now, just because I know some people will want to know, let's just do a little test in the Mio paper that's in the biz. And for those of you who don't like pen tests, I'm very sorry. This is probably like super boring for you. And the frictions are totally fine in the biz as well, I would say. Okay, so we've tested the ballpoint, this one has Jetstream in it, so everybody knows Jetstream's compatible with Tomoe River paper, and it remains compatible with the new paper. It's of course compatible with the Mio paper. Really nice with the Mio paper, honestly. My favorite paper is the Mio paper. Of all three of these papers, I choose the Biz. I like the more colorful option of the standard, but I end up, you know, I almost always want to use ball pen or gel at work, and I love the paper of the Biz. So I go with that Biz monochrome theme, even though I actually prefer the colorfulness of the standard. And so what I do to kind of make my Biz more colorful is I use the page tabs, and I pick the colorful ones. These are the Jibun Techo page tabs, and I'll show them more in depth in a minute, but I kind of do stuff to make my Biz more colorful. I don't have a job where I need to be monochrome. I mean, I sell stationery for a living, so color is fine. So, does anyone want to see a pencil test? Why not? Smooth on the old Tomoe River paper. Pretty much the same on the new one. I like it. I like it a lot. And then on the Mio paper, it's nice. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend mechanical pencil on any of these papers personally. I don't know if you want another type of gel test, but this is a Sarasa Vintage. Absolutely love it in the Jibun Techo. My favorite to pair with the Jibun Techo is the 0.28. I do the uni style fit, and I pick the colors I want, and I do 0.28, so it's really fine. Because with the Jibun Techo, you can write like you can write really fine, like 1 box height tall, or let me zoom in so you know what I'm talking about. So you can write really fine, like 1 box height tall, or you can actually like write double. And so I will do both throughout my planner, and I like that it gives me that versatility, and especially depending on what pen I'm using. Let me do some highlighting. The highlighting in the new, with the new thin paper and the standard is very nice. It's wet on the Tomoe River paper, I feel like. And then in the Mio, it's nice also. I wouldn't hesitate to highlight in either of these, although I feel like it's too wet in the Tomoe River paper. So, you know, because I don't want to only use fountain pens in my Jibun Techo, I am happy about the paper change. I understand there will be some people that are disappointed. I'm really sorry about that. It's obviously not my decision, but you know, I was excited enough about the changes that that's one of the main reasons I wanted to bring it to our store. So we've talked about the Biz versus the original. We've talked about the new paper. We've talked about the 2 different sizes you're going to have to choose from. I want to kind of show you two sizes side by side, so you get an idea. You know, you're going to have more room to write, obviously, in this one, because you're dealing with the same layout, but it's bigger. So if tiny writing stresses you out, you'd probably want to go with the A5 Slim. Why don't we now talk about what these whole like kits are? So So you can just get your standard ones like this, where, let's see, you're essentially just getting the main planner part, okay? This is what most people are gonna wanna do, either with this or the Biz. If you like the idea of Jibun Techo's extra books that they have, one of them is a life book, one of them is an idea book, and I'll explain those in a moment. Then you're gonna wanna consider these whole life log kits. So it's like a planner plus. And so what you get in these, they also come in white, but what you get in these is the addition of the life book, which is meant to stick with you over the years. So you wouldn't use a new one every year, but instead you're gonna fill in these events from your life and other details that you just think you're gonna want to know for your whole life. And also maybe a bit of a legacy to leave behind. It's a very interesting concept. If you're interested in the life book, like separate from the Jibun Techo, we do have some life books coming still. They haven't sent them yet. And the other thing you get besides the planner and the life book with these kits is the idea booklet, which is really just free write paper, which we also, let me see, we sell those in both sizes as well. So you could always refill yours, or if you just like it independently, those are available. Again, the life booklet is still coming. There's a few products that are still coming, but I didn't want to hold off on the video for those. So this also comes with a pencil board that includes an elastic closure band. You don't get that with the kind of standard one here. So the pencil board is nice if you don't want something bleeding through. I pretty much sorry, I spaced off. Sorry, I pretty much like to use mine just to keep it nicely closed in my bag because, you know, I hate it when something gets stuck inside it in my bag and like wrinkles the pages. So I really like this. I don't use a pencil board much. Now there are independent Jibun Techo pencil boards still coming. So that's something the planners will not be sold indefinitely because most people don't want to buy them in the middle of the year, but the accessories will. We'll just keep them stocked as best we can. So that, I wonder how much of a flip through you'd like of the life booklet, but you've got Life's Dream, 100 Wishes. It's actually a really fun exercise. Personal mottos, these could be quotes. Your life plan, which is really kind of neat. If you want to keep track of anniversaries or birthdays. This is meant to be keeping track of your travel. You know, it's made for Japanese people so they can keep track of like where they've been in the country. It's fun for me because I actually go to Japan quite a bit, but for most people, they'll maybe turn this into a creative pages where you'd put a collage over it or something. The world travel map, though, you might be interested in. I know I am. Family news and world news throughout your life. That's kind of cool. Now I'm excited because this is my first time to use the life booklet and I'm about to go on a trip to Greece. It's like half work, half pleasure. And so I will be doing some contemplation, filling in my life book while I'm there, and I think it'll be a really awesome exercise, maybe even a little therapeutic. Family tree, that's cool. My dad was adopted, so I always find it annoying. I can't really keep track of like two branches of my dad's side because we actually know his biological family now. So it'd be really nice for me to be able to keep track of the adoptive family and the biological family. So this is always my beef with family trees. So I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do that. emergency contact lists. If you want to keep track of some financial planning, I would recommend not using the password thing unless you have some kind of code. So yeah, I think that'll be fun to just sort of, I don't know, take some time to think about my life, where I've been and where I might want to go. I'm really looking forward to that. So this is going to be my personal one for 2020, and for my business one for 2020, I'm using the Viz, which I was excited. I already started setting them up. So let's do a little bit of flip through about like what you get in the regular one. So sorry, I know there is so much going on with this product, and I'm just trying to make it so it's not so confusing, but it probably feels like I'm taking forever. Okay, so that's maybe zoomed in a little too much. Let me see. Maybe like that would be good for you guys. Okay. So here is your yearly plan. I love this. In my personal one, I use it to keep, generally I use it to keep track of my weight. In my business one, I usually use this to keep track of something I want to make sure I'm doing daily for my business. So maybe that's post on Instagram, or, you know, I don't know what that might mean for you. Maybe it's check YouTube comments, but I always have a lot of fun with yearly plans. You can write down your goals in the My Dream part. And so I would be keeping track of some of my main goals for Tokyo Pen Shop here. You know, money plan, for me, I can use that for business. I don't know if everyone can. When you're a business owner, you definitely can. You can maybe keep track of sales goals or, you know, what have you. But I think for some people, this would be more of like a personal thing. Same Japan map as in the life book. Your weekly plan. So this is just a generic, like, I think of this as how your ideal week would be set up. But I also think you could use it more as for like some general planning that changes throughout the year. And maybe you want to use Friction so that you can change it up or what have you. Favorite phrases. This is like one of my favorite parts. I love keeping track of quotes or like little inspirational things that I hear, or like my husband is always saying hilarious stuff. I like to keep track of it. Recommendations list. So for work, I will actually use this for when people are keep recommending products to me, and I want to make sure not to forget to try them and possibly merchandise them on the store. I'll keep track of them here. Book list, I would really just use this for business related books that I want to read, listen to. For the personal one, that would be more personal for me. Movie list, I'll probably turn this into something entirely different, because obviously in my personal life, I want to keep track of movie lists, but not necessarily at work. So I will use this for, you know, I might turn this into something I want to keep track of about customers. Like every once in a while, I send a gift to a customer, something I think they would really like some of our frequent customers. I get to know them from their orders. And so maybe I want to keep track that I sent them some little gift so that I wouldn't do it again. Send them the same thing or something. Believe it or not, I mean, I do sometimes receive gifts and would want to keep track of things people sent me and if I sent a thank you. Promise list, what I would do with this one is similar to how I would do the recommendations. So, but I might do it more focused on if I told somebody I would get something for the store, I would want to keep it here so that I knew like this is something I really need to get to make happen for the store. So it's very convenient for me for work. I'm trying to think how I use this one for personal. I'm not that comfortable talking about my personal side when it comes to work, but you know, I think this would be really good for, I'm one of those people who will agree to do stuff with people, but I'm terrible at making the plan. So if someone says, hey, let's go on a walk sometime, this would be an awesome place to keep track of it so that I'm actually prompted to like text that person and be like, how about this week, you know? So I think that could be really good. This is a Gantt chart. I know there are different names for these. I call it a Gantt chart. So for work, I just kind of pre-set this up, even though it's not December yet. But I would like, these are some of the things I would like to keep track of. You know, what days did I Instagram that month? What days did I YouTube? What days have we sent a newsletter? We try to only send newsletters like once a month at the most, because we don't like, nobody likes getting those daily emails from companies. At least I do not like that. So I love Gantt charts, but you could also use these to keep track of other products. Like say I have a goal this year of posting new banners 10 times a month or something. So then, you know, I would put like homepage banner, and then every time I did it, I'd check it off. I absolutely love Gantt charts. This is probably my favorite thing. And of course for personal, that stuff is gonna say more like morning hike, drink so many ounces of water. Let's see, what else do I keep track of? Sometimes I keep track of if I do, actually, I don't want to get super personal, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let's see, okay, so monthly calendar. I love this little area here. What I use it for work is if I have, these are the things that the new products I expect to be getting that month. And so I already know some about this coming December, so I was like filling it. You can tell I was like, even though this planner does not start yet, I was so super excited to start it. I just love it. I don't know if I will keep track of my mood for work, but in my personal one, I definitely will, because I like to link mood to caffeine and see, you know, if abstaining from caffeine helps me feel better, things like that. Just, it's nice to like tell, like, okay, so what habits do I have in my life, and is this helping my overall like attitude and stuff like that? So those are the monthlies. And then the weekly, very nice as well. I haven't filled out a weekly yet, but actually I had last, you know, you get an idea of how I might use the weekly. I love it when they get all filled in. Trying to think. Some of them end up looking more random. Those are all just sort of examples of what the weekly looks like. I just love this planner. So I have I'm using the Jibun Techo index tabs in here, which are very lovely and subtle, as you can see. And that's so that I don't have, you know, it's quicker to find sections, obviously, because there are a lot of different parts of this planner. And I find if you don't use the bookmarks or tabs, you forget about certain sections, then you forget about keeping track of certain things that you want to keep track of. So the tabs and bookmarks are really kind of a key for me. Let me show you the tab options. So it comes built in with 2 bookmarks before I go on to tabs, a red and a navy bookmark. And then what I've done here is, this is one of the new Midori embroidery bookmarks that's new for this year. And because I like to have a 3rd bookmark. I'm a bookmark hog. So I'm using it that way. So that's that extra thing you see sticking out of there. And then the tabs, so this one is really meant to go with the Biz, and this one is meant to go with the Standard, but you can totally use whichever one you want. And the only difference is that the Biz is a month shorter than the Standard, and so you don't get 2 11-month tabs. I'll show you what I mean here. Easier for me to show you what I mean. So this weekly section really starts in December. It kind of looks like it starts in November in the biz, but it's just they're giving you that whole week because the 1st is on the Sunday. So starts in December. Now for the standard, you're starting that weekly section in November. This is why you need the tabs. Okay. So you're starting that in November. Technically October 28th, but November. Okay. So in line with that, you get like one fewer 11th month tab in the biz. I like to use, you know, the colorful one in my biz because I don't need to be on monochrome, but they're both really handy. They've got all these sections from my dream, yearly, project, weekly plan, so you can quickly find those places in your Jibun Techo if you're wanting to write in those daily. Other things you can get with the Jibun Techo, I feel like this is going on forever. Other things you can get are the standard size, or sorry, the A5 Slim zip pocket or the B6 Slim zip pocket. They call the B6 Slim the mini. So if you hear people say Jibun Techo mini, they're talking about the smaller one. But it's B6 Slim and A5 Slim. Anyways, let me show you what that looks like. I think I have one. So yeah, I have a zip pocket back here. The loop comes on the vinyl cover that they all come with. So you're gonna get a pen loop attached already. But if you want a zip pocket for little things like bookmarks, clips, cards, there's this really pretty zip pocket basically. You could put pens in there, but then it's gonna add some lumpiness back there. I love the front slip pocket too, if I didn't mention it already. So there's the zip pockets. I already told you about the idea booklets. There's also these really cool, they're special Jibun Techo size. These are the stencil templates here. Plan on the left. So this has like clock borders. It's really nice for adding that. If you ever see people's planners and they have just like really nice looking borders, a lot of times they're using something like this. Or some people use the little clock stencil in their Jibun Techo. It has a CM ruler, straight edge at the top. There's also this like little tab, so this can be used as a bookmark as well. It also fits nicely in this back little slip pocket back there. And then the other one, so that was plan, and this one's icon, and so it has all these little icons. If you'd rather you know, do little stencils, some people like stickers, some people like stencils, some people don't like any of them. Numbers are on here. So that's also an option. The Jibun Techo Light Mini, I hope I said those words in the right order, is still coming. We're getting that in 3 colors. I'm totally blanking on what the colors are. I think the only color I didn't get was this blue color that I thought was ugly, but you know, I'm open to feedback, whatever. The standard one, so the standard mini is available in like these 3 colors in the kit. And then in the regular one, that's not the kit, just the planner, is the original white. And then there's this pale blue this year that was really pretty, so I got it. This might sell out, but we have more coming, so don't freak out if it sells out. You can always email service@tokyopenshop.com and someone will get back to you and let you know when it comes back in stock. But right now, as of now, we still have some. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I have a cheat sheet over here that I wrote some bullet points on to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. You know, some of you have been using Jibun Techo for years, so go ahead and feel free to tell the other viewers kind of your main points that you'd like to get across that I might have missed. I'm happy for the help. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. I'm a little bit sorry about how long this video was, but I'm really excited to take my new personal one on my trip, fill out my life book maybe I'll just, since it's not starting yet, maybe I'll just pull the life book out and take it. I'll show you this one throughout the year. This is kind of a fun one, the work one. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, whenever this gets released. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.